some it will be an unpredictable route, but at long last the arc with the brainwashed and despairing Mael is finally over, or because now he is officially saved, and with it perhaps returning to his more kinder roots, which a lot of people will of course have issues with. But it is what it is. This is the Angry Anime Fan as Gopher finally enters Mael's subconscious. We see Mael sitting on a field and looking over the sky. I mean, a field in a sky. It's used to be where he came alone. Yeah, because this is where Elizabeth used to comfort him. The and even though Mael became very insane recently, because of his despair, it does shows that another right of his despair is the fact that he feels like he has no right to live, having taken so many of his brethren's life, other lives, and even tried to kill Elizabeth. Uh, so, and he says that no one wants to return, as and it's just then the commandments materialize as monsters holding on to Mael, as they say that they will devour the person. Uh, Mael once again asks, uh, "Why was I chosen?" Because earlier Gother said that Meliodas was the only one who could face Meliodas in battle. So, Gother could very well have just brainwashed Elizabeth or Ludoshel. So, Mael asks once again, why was I chosen? Well, he was the most powerful one. But it turns out that in the end it wasn't only because he was powerful. The other Gother may very well just have gained Mael a dose of his own grief, because the one who chose Mael was the real Gother, and it is then that the dull Gother asks Mael if his face looks familiar, and we see a fighting style of where Mael mercilessly killed many demons, even demons who begged for mercy, because well he considered that mercy himself, showing that once again the goddess's faith wasn't that black and white. He approaches what seems to be a female demon, although, let's just face it, a female demon with the face of Gother is actually a pretty morbid sight. Then again, the real Gother's face was modeled after the woman Gother loved, and turns out Mael was the one who killed the woman he loved. And yeah, but their faces are so similar that, well, I'm just saying. Either way, Mael remembers that, as Dol Gother says that the woman's name was Glaricia, and her face was of course the prototype that the real Gother used to create the doll Gother, at least in faith. It's during this time that actually Mael, for the first time, actually begins to question himself. He he has now known the sin of killing so many of his loved ones and his brethren, but he also himself mercilessly killed an own loved one. So in a way, Gother did not just brainwash Mael because Mael held the key of it all. It was also to, well, teach him and also to show him his own pain of having lost his loved one. So, as Mael stands up and the commandments try to surround him, he says there's a limit to my stupidity, and one he can never forgive is perhaps himself. So he forces the commandments out as a bright light engulfs everything. Gother falls off, but then gets grabbed by an unknown hand, the hand of Mael, the archangel, who now truly seems to have recovered from the commandments and the darkness. With that, the revival was successful, although at the cost of many, many allies. That's basically this chapter. Well, yeah, well, it was a fine one for me. It was nothing really big happened, nothing really new happened. But in the end, it's one. I think the best part of this manga chapter is the fact that there's an internal argument there. What is right and what is wrong? What you think is right isn't can also be wrong. But that also causes some confusion is the fact that Gotha chose Mael because he was the most powerful of them all. But here it also suggests he did it out of his own grief as well. So I mean, I guess there's a lesson here: the vengeance cycle. And Mael was actually eventually understood that that wasn't the right path. Who knows? You can give me your thoughts if you have any.